So I'm gonna have to do that more often. It's funny, I do that like in the desert or other places, but here's my escape. There's my stuff. Can't even tell except for this water bottle. So I'm gonna put this. Yeah, now you can't even tell. Because look. So I'm gonna use you as my periscope. Let's see. Nothing. All right, backpack. Water with electrolyte powders in it. Periscope. Damn it. I think I saw him, but hopefully they didn't see me. I gotta start getting out of here earlier. Janitor guy that didn't see me right there. It's good. You don't see what you don't expect to see. When there's a bear, when you see a bear and it's right there, it takes about 3 seconds to realize it's a bear. I've been in that circumstance. A hammerhead shark swims up. You think it's a person for like about 3 seconds, you know? I'm not sure what the effect is, but it takes a while. Gotta start tossing my piss. All right, now I'm back to being a normal person. My sleep, my dreams, I was dreaming that I was in some sort of hotel or haunted house. There's pretty much a haunted house. And there were like 4 of us, and there's a whole plot line, a big long one that I don't remember. I remember what happened when I woke up. And basically there was like a book written in blood. And I remember looking at it, and the symbols and stuff started moving and dripping and changing. And it was almost like the book itself was alive, like a grimoire like you'd see in the movies. And there were 2 bunk beds, and everyone was asleep. And then shit started going down, like dark, evil, demonic shit. It was fucking scary. Like really scary. Like, you know, I had the snake dream, whatever. I woke up. I had the dream that I fell into hell. That was pretty like helpless feeling. You know, and ironically that one, there was that girl was a bartender in hell. And a big part of hell was just a giant dive bar, which is almost comical. Security. Look like shit. I look like $1 million by the time I make it to work though. But yeah, things started going down, and it was more like haunted house possession type stuff, and like not so much like a physical entity or a specific entity that was like humanoid. It was more just like creepy screams and sounds and flashes and shadows. Scary. So I woke up and I talked to my good friend Ian, Christian Skate Donations. He's about to change the name because he doesn't want to cut himself off from all of the people by just advocating towards Christians. He wants to be there for like everyone, and he has a strong faith in God. But again, he doesn't necessarily have to feel like it has to be pushing people towards Christ. Although he does believe in Christ and he wants people to go towards Christ, he feels like he's cutting himself off from a lot of people by only pushing towards that angle. So him and I are actually talking about doing a podcast based off of a lot of weird stuff. And I'm excited for that. What's going on, Christian Skates? What's going on, Ian? I met him at Ruby Tuesday years ago. So I woke up at 2:30 and I talked to him because he had just messaged me. It's like 7:30 for him on the East Coast. Bathrooms are closed. All right, I'll have to do this somewhere else. Yeah, so basically, we had some really good conversation, and he's been praying for me and stuff. He prayed that that fight I got in with that guy would lead me to becoming a server there. I believe in the power of prayer, just for heads up. I always have. To me, manifestation is just another term for it. Ian's asking me to consider that maybe manifestation leaves you open to other things unless it's, unless you're using God's name in the process, that you're potentially taking on the mantle of God, and that it's blasphemy and such. And I'm not sure I exactly agree, but like I said, I try to consider all options instead of just tying myself to one thing. So he prayed that I would have better dreams, and when I went to bed, oh man. So way back when I worked in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I worked for this restaurant that's going to remain unnamed, and there was like more music. One second. I love this part, but there's so much music. So a restaurant in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. One second. So yeah, I worked for this restaurant where it was so weird because they asked my buddy and I to work 90 14-hour shifts in a row as lead servers. One of my best friends, and they only allowed the girls to work 2 shifts a week. So there was like multiple different girls, like a lot of them, and that's the maximum they could work all summer. So I literally worked like 94-hour weeks for 3 months straight, and that was my first. It's the first time I went into psychosis at the end of that, which some call a spiritual awakening in indigenous cultures. But I digress. So basically I was paid for just 40 hours of work at $2.83 an hour, so I missed out on 55 hours of work each week as far as pay goes. But I could eat whatever I wanted, and it was an expensive restaurant, so I would get like lobster and filet for dinner with like béarnaise and yum, and for lunch I would just eat like the same, and I ate like a king for 3 months. But at the same time I was going out to the bar every night, spending every dollar. I had absolutely nothing. I was making more money than I had in so long, but I was like literally selling my soul, like not literally, but I was selling my soul to money. Well, one night when I was out at the bar, I was talking to my manager at the time, and he's a fucking awesome guy. But he was all drunk, and he starts talking to me, and he's talking to me about how he said he works for the devil, right? And I just figured the boss is a shitty guy, and yeah. So then he starts talking about how he works for the Irish Mafia, and how basically they'll have people that are like them, but they won't have people that aren't like them. If you look into it, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is run by the Irish Mafia. So he was saying that like he goes and collects money for bookies, and so he gets paid $5,000 a pop. He probably gets paid more because he was trying to get me to do it. But he said that day he had gone and had broken into someone's house. He has police immunity. He grabbed their cat, threw it against the wall, killed it, and said, "I'll kill your whole fucking family. Give me the $5,000 now." So he collected the $5,000. They're like trying to call the cops, but the cops are like bought off. It literally is the cops he's working for. And he told me that that basically doing that was killing him. He has got a family, he's got all these kids, and he's just trying to support them. And he can't get out until he finds someone else to replace him. And he saw the way I was like supervising at work, and how I was like good with people and good at like managing people, not so much being a manager, but just like getting what I want out of people in a way where I was very assertive, and I had strong leadership skills. So he told me that I would get paid $5,000 a pop. I'd have complete police immunity. I could get away with anything. I'd have any court dates, and everything just dropped. And I would just have to go and dress nice and be given a gun and go threaten people's lives and collect $5,000 a pop. At least every other week, if not more. He was talking about that stuff, and then his brother, who didn't hear any of it, leaned in and told me, and I asked him about a question just to see, and his brother was right down with it. His brother's talking about the Irish Mafia, collecting this and that. I always wondered how this owner of this restaurant had so many lackeys, so many dudes that would come in, spend all this money on booze, and but I never saw them working. I didn't ever hear them having jobs. And so, the owner also brought like people from the inner city, which Harrisburg is a center, if you don't mind me saying, of the dark occults. The Pennsylvania Dutch still practice what's called powwow and hex magic. And William Penn supposedly was someone who was really into the dark occults. The handbag in his hand on the Independence Hall, statues all have symbology, and the handbag goes back to ancient Egypt. The handbag is what the warlock would have, and it was pretty much a bag of pharmacopoeia, which is just hallucinogens and such, which they would use to access the higher realms as a means of gaining power, sharing power. I know I sound like a nut, but whatever. This all ties back into my dream. So the owner would get a bunch of... One second. Excuse me, miss, do you know which way to the restroom? Thank you. So the owner would have all the bouncers and these big, huge dudes from like the Hill, as they called it. It's where a bunch of like hardcore violence goes. The police don't go in there. That's where like the rough and gruff people come from. You know, they have a tough life, and you know, they know snitches get stitches. There's no way they would ever tell on anyone. And basically, he would offer them once a month. They could drink and eat whatever they wanted. The server got to wait on them. The server made 20%. You know, these like 12 people would ring up like a $2,500 tab plus. And when it all clicked, he was buying enforcers, right? And the girls were just prostitutes. And the restaurant was an open red light where it was young girls who were getting to use that opportunity, that 2 days a week, to sell their bodies on the side. And you know, the prettiest ones, they would within 3 days they would become his assistant, and we'd never see them again. You know, after another week, one time there were two hostesses working there, and the owner came up and he goes, "Excuse me, you just don't have the look for this job. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to let you go. You can clock out now and head out." And he looked at the other girl and goes, "You?" He goes, You're so beautiful, but why are you wearing these rags? You know, you need to dress appropriately if you're gonna represent this job." He said, "Here's the deal. I've already called my limo driver. He's coming to pick you up. He has $200 cash for you, and you're going to go down to the mall and buy yourself an appropriate outfit." She was like, "Huh?" Then he goes over to one of the other servers. He's like, you're coming off the floor. Here's $100. You're gonna be the hostess for now until this other girl gets back." No fucking lie. So basically this guy was a big shot, you know, in the underground world of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which was put there when they connected lines between all the major cities on the East Coast and decided that Harrisburg was the very center of the wagon wheel. It's the center of distribution. And I'm sure it's the distribution of black arms, sex trafficking, drugs, etc. That's where I grew up in Pennsylvania. It's also the trucker capital of the East Coast, if not the whole country. I need this restroom, but I'll find it. She said something, Flora, but I didn't understand her. Maybe you did. Well, long story short, another time he would just like go up to a server while she's working a shift. He's like, "Here's $200. Get off the floor, give someone else your tables. I want you to get up in the bar and dance." And then she would dance. He would come in when he's all drunk, go back in the kitchen, and he'd grab these knives and just throw them against the wall right above where the dishwasher was. Not the person, the actual dishwasher. Every knife would stick into the wall perfect. He was making a statement to us that not only was he just some big shot who looks like some douchebag, he looked a lot like Trump. He had an orange face, blonde hair, open shirt, South Beach themed restaurant. Kind of crazy. But he would stick these knives in the wall, and every single one would go. It's just regular, generic steak knives from the restaurant. He'd come in the next day after he was drunk, and there'd be like 20 knives in the wall. I wish I was fucking kidding. So in my dream last night, after talking to Ian, I had gone to I'd been in a bar working, and he showed up, and he was the devil. And he was training me to bartend there, trying to show me the way. And as much as he was indefinitely the bad guy and the villain of the dream and of my psych, he was so charismatic and likable. And I didn't see any other path other than just listening to him and learning from him. And the dream went on, and it's kind of creepy because in my dream I was literally being subverted by the devil, who was my old boss, who a man that worked for the Irish Mafia, and I'm guessing the dark occults, told me either he was the devil or that they all worked for the devil. One second, I gotta ask again for the restrooms. I'm sorry, miss, which direction to the restrooms?
Sorry?
The restrooms?
We have like floor to floor, over there, we have second floor.
Okay, thank you. And which direction downstairs?
Hmm?
Which direction downstairs is it? Is it that way or this way?
Please.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Over
Yep.
there.
You're awesome. Thank you. But yeah, so my dreams are getting really dark, and I feel like there's something going on in my inner psyche that is probably just, me having reservations about going on these podcasts and exposing this stuff. But at the same time, who really knows? Part of me wonders if I'm not under some weird psychic attack, which I don't really truly consider. But again, I'll consider lots of stuff. I also consider that maybe, I don't really know, but I keep having these dreams and they're getting worse and worse. And a large part of it is because I stopped smoking weed, but that's just making them more vivid. It doesn't control what's happening in the dreams. And I gotta go to the bathroom now and wash my hair. See ya. All right, here I am looking a little bit rough around the edges. They're gonna be like, holy crap, can this guy afford a haircut? I can. There we go, vintage barbershop, the spinny thing. I look like shit. Here we go, here's the before and after. You ready? Let's see. Before. And after. Dude, that was one of the nicest people I ever met. I just rambled. It would have made such a great YouTube interview to just video record the haircut. I think next time I might have to ask. He probably would have let me if I did a time lapse and a video. I'm loving the haircut. It almost makes this look more manageable, but I'm gonna shave this. Oh my gosh. It smells so good. Smells like pizza. I haven't had pizza in so long. What is this place? It looks... Dive bar. Looks like a great place to work. Yeah, so I gotta go run to get my TB testing, and then I have to go find a public bathroom where I can shave without getting shit for it. So hopefully I can find one of those malls that has a family restroom that lets me in. But I guess we'll have to see. For now, I've got to jump on Maps because I'm on a time crunch and I still want to do that dream journal thing, and that's what's holding me back these few days. But once I load that, it'll be so easy to start curating the other videos, and it's going to be all at once. That's why this has been compressed because of sorry, hair. All right, that's it. I'm done rambling for now. Yeah, without weed to slow me down, I'm a mile a minute. Loving you, fam. So right next to the downtown Quartz District, whether that's the name or not, in Honolulu is Chinatown. So as I head over, it's only a 30-minute walk or a 17-minute bus ride. Yeah, I'll save $275 and spend 13 more minutes getting exercise. Easy. Yeah, rather than take the bus, I'm gonna walk through Chinatown and scope it out. Take a look. I'm hungry. Maybe I'll buy some type of foreign delicacy that I have no clue what it really is. If I see something that calls me, I haven't eaten yet today, and it's 12:30. I still have 3 hours till I have to make it to my job. So I've got to go get the TB test, make it clear back across town. I've got to shave, and yeah, got to do those things. Oh, and buy a black shirt and change. But everything's going great. Everything's going just how I want it. And life is pretty amazing. Life is good. I hope that you can borrow some of this energy that I have, all this positive energy that I have overflowing, and channel it into your own life, and that you can reap the benefits of it. If that is somehow something that you feel like you might be doing, I'd love to hear how my positive attitude in spite of adversity might have helped you throughout the week in any way. If you've gone through any struggles, or if you decided to stay positive or make any transformations. Again, I'm not assuming that I will be the cause of said transformations, but maybe I could have helped guide you to your own line of thought, to your own true self. Yeah, who knows? If so, that's pretty amazing, and I'd love to hear, although you don't have to comment it. I would love to have you share the comment. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit that bell. You'll know whenever my next video pops up. I promised you the 5 p.m. Eastern thing, and yeah, I'm going to be careful with my promises. I never like to give promises that I can't fully hold myself to, but my goal is to work towards that, and I will continue trying to. But oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. Non-stop stuff going on. So like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell. Truly loving you, fam. Just a couple seconds later, I'm still in the same spot. Thought I'd show you, show you Chinatown in downtown Honolulu. There's the Golden Palace Seafood Restaurant. That sounds awesome. I love the dragons over there. There's some dragon serpent symbology. Uh-oh. The feathered serpent representing the full balance of physical and spiritual. The feathers, of course, being the spiritual, the snake being the physical. Serpent symbology exists in all cultures worldwide, from the Aztecs and Mayans to Japan and China, the Western dragons of Eastern and Western Europe. Even the Native Americans, if I'm not mistaken, had a feathered serpent. Again, obviously these have ties to an ancient civilization that we no longer know about. It's not that civilization started in the 14,000 years ago like history and science is suggesting. In my opinion, 14,000 years ago is when a great calamity happened and it was rebooted. There's over 42 legends of a great flood around the world. And oh, here's some cool stuff. Over 42 legends of a great flood around the world, from the Epic of Gilgamesh, Noah's Ark, etc. Oh, yeah. There we go. Look at that. Yum. I should grab something. I need some meat. That looks good. Cornish hens. Ah, man, look at all these cool fruits. I'm going to put my mask on because it's respectful. I'm not sure how they feel about it. There's someone without a mask, but I'm not them, and I want to make sure that I make anyone feel comfortable. So this great flood that happened, if you look into like Randall Carlson's videos, he's suggesting that a series of comets, this is connected to what I'm talking about, a series of comets struck North America, specifically Greenland, about 14,000 years ago. You've got what's called the precession of ages, the precession of the zodiac, and I think it's like, what is it, 12,600 years or something is halfway through, and that's when it suggested that I'm gonna wait. That's when a big catastrophe comes and hits. And what's funny enough is that's coming up on right now from the last time. So he made all these theories. He even suggested there's a big comet impact zone in Greenland, and about 4 years ago they discovered a 100-mile wide comet impact zone in Greenland under the ice shelf 2 miles down. They've even suggested that the Great Lakes might have been carved out by comet impacts, right? So the dragon symbology, aside from being about human enlightenment and the melding of and the merging of the physical and the spiritual into the higher awareness, dragon symbology also is representative of comet symbology. You know, the tail of this flying. Yeah. So also there's the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead exists worldwide in October in all different indigenous cultures that supposedly weren't connected from before, whenever such legends started. So the theory is that the Day of the Dead is actually representative of a day whenever the whole world died, except for some, because a large series of comets struck the Earth over the course of about 800 years, but specifically a big certain date. And that when the Greenland ice sheet was struck, now I have my own theories too, right? If you know about liquefaction, it's whenever soft earth that has water in it gets shook up and vibrated during earthquakes. It causes water to come up in large amounts and create small floods in that area. Well, I remember while doing my freediving, I was studying up on, sorry, I gotta get this thing on. So much easier. Check this out. I remember when I was studying up on freediving in the cenotes of Mexico and Central America, when you look into it, the Yucatan Peninsula, that's where that huge comet or asteroid impacted that destroyed the dinosaurs. There's like a 50-mile wide, I think it was like 50 million years ago, and there's like a really big, maybe 120-mile wide, I forget, a really big impact zone. Well, it hit half land and half water, and when you look into it separately on your own, the cenotes and the Yucatan have a semicircle on land that is literally the perimeter of that impact zone, right? So there's places where water was forced up from deep underground, and these underground rivers, right, existing at the perimeter of this giant ancient impact zone. So I used my critical conjecture to figure that with some other information, there's what's called ringwoodite. Ringwoodite is, I think that's the word. Ringwoodite is a type of soft, spongy earth of stone that exists 450 miles down under the earth. And they've actually discovered these reservoirs of fresh water that exist that hold like over 4 times the amount of total surface water on the earth. That's combining all the oceans, rivers, lakes, streams, everything. All the water on the surface is literally, there's 4 times as much fresh water as that 450 miles down at one location. Who knows how many more there are. So my theory is that, and honestly, I can't get anyone to bite back, like Randall Carlson, any of these guys. They just don't check their emails, or they don't want to think that someone who's not got a master's degree in geology could consider this. But basically, my theory is that when this giant series of comets, and when this specific comet struck Greenland, not only did the ice cap melt, but it caused a deep type of liquefaction where all of this water poured out of the earth from these deposits of ringwoodite when the earth rung like a bell. And that's what brought the waters up, and that's what soaked them back in like a sponge. It's like squeezing a sponge. The water comes out and it slowly soaks back up. So serpent symbology, dragon symbology, comet symbology, the Great Flood, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the concept that there was an ancient civilization that existed that predates all known history. If you ask me, how else did all of these indigenous people have the same types of similar legends and stories and symbols whenever they supposedly had no interoceanic travel before, like 6,000 years ago or so? Yeah, how? I ask you how. The answer, who knows? What can I prove? But I do know that closing our minds and just assuming that what they tell us is the truth is not the answer. We have to open our minds, consider all options, and yeah, you might be sitting on a channel that's one of the few, if not only people talking about these correlations. So I'm not saying to consider yourself lucky, but consider yourself unique, because you are, for choosing to watch me, just as I am for being me, just as you are for being you. Like I said to the guy who cut my hair, I forget his name, the barber already. Man, I don't want to slaughter it. I'm still learning the patterns of the Polynesian and Hawaiian language. But basically, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. With that, I close out for now because I'm out of Chinatown. But I'm probably about 20 minutes, 15 minutes away from my destination for the TB test. So hey, brother. Then I'm gonna jump onto a bus and head back down to downtown Waikiki. Grab a shirt from a Ross, a nice Nautica black shirt that is wicking and really nice. And then I'm also going to shave up my face and go study up on the menu some if I have a chance. I'm really hoping to get that dream interpretation in. That's my goal. It'll only take like 15 minutes. So I'm hoping to squeeze that in. I just need to find a spot that's comfortable. I need to have my stuff charged. Luckily I have the power bank. I can keep things charged. And I need to, yeah, that's about it. I just have to do it somewhere where it's quiet, where there's a cool background, where there's not music. And then I'm going to study the menu so I can go in and not look like someone who's overly full of themselves for no reason. In fact, I'm not going to go in telling them anything about who I am or how great I am. I'll answer questions simply. Where are you from? I'm not going to say, oh, well, I traveled the United States for 10 years and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say, yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania. When they find out later all of the other stuff, it'll help them realize that although I'm not always humble, that I strive towards humility. So yeah, they don't need to know my whole story. They don't need to know all the great places I've worked. They don't need to hear about a bunch of stuff. I'd rather learn about them and their knowledge so that I can grow more, so I can get closer to the point where they will accept me early. And politics are huge. And when you talk as fast and as much as I do, it can be hard to jump up in the politics. So I'm really going to try hard to just whoosh, calm, chill. And I'm really hoping I can try to just bleeding heart. Try to just go in there with a clear head, calm mind, as much knowledge on the menu together as I can, and show them who I am rather than tell them. Can't wait to see Moy there. I'm sure he's going to be working. He might have a night off, but I think he said he's going to go in so he can keep studying the menu and the chef's knowledge and the bartender's knowledge. And I really hope I get a chance to interview Moy because, wow, is he on another level. He's such a great guy. I'm going to get more interviews in. Yeah, things are going great. And I really hope you like the direction things are headed. Who'd have thought that I could pull off so much interesting content while living a normal life back in Babylon after reintegrating it back into society? I feel that there's so much magic to be had still, and I can't wait to share all of the crazy, beautiful things that pour into my life. And you know that I will share them openly after all the stuff I've said already today. You know, I'm not going to hold back, and I have no reason to, because if you're still watching, yeah, however many people I'm going to scare away, that many more people will pour in, and I know that for a fact. Take care. So I got to shave there at the TV place. Got my hair cut. I got my teeth brushed, my mouthwash, Q-tips in my ears. Get to wash up a little bit for some areas, change my boxers. Now I just have to go get my new shirt at Ross, right next to my jobs, and then go do my dream interpretation video, hopefully, and then go to my job at Il Lupino for my first night. I'm stoked. Everything's going well. The TB clearance they didn't see me as a risk, so they didn't even need to get me tested. That means I didn't have to get pricked, which I'm loving because I don't want needles in me for no reason, unless I have to. Only once have I had to go on IV, and that was when I got sepsis and almost died from a cyst on my tailbone that grew to the size of a grapefruit in like 2 days. So I'm at a bus stop. It's 40 minutes to downtown Waikiki. I won't have to come this far out again unless I visit Joel and Jolie. Tomorrow I do a podcast with Slab City TV, and I'm going to delve into some really dark topics and some really light topics. I'm going to embrace the truth of my journey for the first real time on the internet, and I'd love if you checked it out. We'll see if I get this loaded in time for you to know, but I set a community tab telling you. I hope you watch it. I got another interview lined up for a breakfast job, Lily Hot Bakery. Pesca still wants to know if I want to join. They need my TB clearance. Il Lupino has me. Eating House still wants me. Sky Waikiki has me. I'm not positive they want me to serve. I think they just needed the tests. I'm hoping it means that I'm going to get to serve. And I turned down a job at the Cafe Asia, shabu shabu restaurant or hot pot restaurant, where they wanted me to serve. So basically, lots of opportunities, and I'm staying positive, and I'm reaping the benefits. So stay sharp in face of adversity, and good things will flow, especially when you have people that believe in you, who are praying for you and manifesting for you. It's a long ramble today, so I'm going to let it go for now, but I look sharp, huh? Just wait till I have my tie on and my black on black. Can't wait to show you. Peace. Loving you, fam. My fellow Ohana. Betty's Burgers. There's music over there, so I'm going to stay away. That copyright, you know. I'm going to grab a burger for myself. It's a blue cheeseburger, 86 American cheese. That means no American. Sub pepper jack, and also a deluxe cheeseburger for my friend Moy, who is studying at Il Lupino. Now, they don't provide a shift meal. Whatever, but you'll make enough. I'll make enough money. I won't need a shift meal, and so I got to eat ahead of time, so I'm not tempted to sneak food from somewhere. I'm excited for my shift. I'm excited for the burger. I'm excited for the milkshake I got. I'm excited to share with my new friend and to go study with him for the shift. I just need to get some water on my shirt. Maybe they have water. Let me ask them. All right, good to go. So I jumped on the scale today at the TB clinic. I literally weigh the least I've ever weighed in my life that I've only achieved once. 165. I remember weighing 160 when I was 12 years old, 13 years old. I'm literally 165, and that is so cool. What's interesting is I'm having all these dreams and noticing all these omens, and what I learned through the spiritual community is that your fat blocks the flow of electricity in your body and actually blocks you from your spiritual / psychic potential. I'm not saying I'm psychic, but I'm saying we're literally walking antennas. There's no other animal that's more of an antenna than we are. And that our fat, especially Americans, blocks us from that spiritual potential, and that might be part of social design, I suppose, social engineering. Hope I have the right color shirt. Yeah, it's black on black. I'm gonna go into work now. Here it is, Il Lupino, and I got a surprise from my buddy. I'm stoked. See ya. Right, here I am in the Royal Hawaiian Resort Plaza, and I'm eating one of Betty's Burgers. If you're here, it's a staple of Hawaii, Honolulu. It's so cheap, and oh my gosh, so good. You can get a burger for like $5. Mine was like 10 because I switched cheeses. I got a bacon blue cheeseburger, but holy, this is making me so happy. I bought one for Moy, but he's just not feeling it. He's already full, so I might have to fill up, which I've got the appetite. Especially, again, after mentioning that this is the thinnest I've ever been, ever, and I'm about to turn 40 next year. That's pretty crazy. I don't have any clue where this path is going to take me, and that's the beauty of it. I do know that I'll be doing my underwater photography business by this summer, but aside from that, who knows the beauty that will come my way. Take care.